Hello. Hello, everyone. Welcome to I Didn't Kill My Wife.
Oh, we're not doing that anymore.
Oh.
No.
That was last week. Oh, my gosh. Welcome, everyone, to another Harrison Ford classic movie.
Harrison month continues.
The month of Harrison. And we are
Forduary.
talking about... What? Forduary?
Well, that would be February. That sounds more like a February thing.
It does.
Whatever.
It does.
Take it for what it is.
Okay. How about Jonesuary?
No.
That's better than Forduary. Jonesuary.
But Jonesuary, there's no Indiana Jones in The Fugitive.
Yeah. Okay.
Is he in it?
That's a good point.
Dun, dun, dun.
I don't think he is.
This is the murder weapon. It belongs in a museum. Anyway.
Yeah, he doesn't do that.
All right, Shakers. Let's do it. What'd you think? What'd you give it? Okay.
Welcome. We're talking about the latest and greatest installment of the Indiana Jones franchise, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Yes.
Wow. A movie that came out last year.
Yeah.
And
this was Disney's big summer blockbuster.
But was it?
Man, they had a rough year.
Yeah, Disney fucked up.
Yeah.
You know, I used to be on Team Disney. I was so, I root for you.
Yeah.
You make shit I like, I'm going hard for you.
Mm-hmm.
And then, honestly, what they've done with the parks and how they made it so inaccessible to, people who are just not rich. You know, it's just so hard to go now. It's so expensive.
Yeah.
The
process is bad.
Well, yeah, a family of my size costs over $1,000 to get into the park.
Yes.
You can fuck off.
It's also overly complicated. I mean, the attractions they've added have been pretty awesome, but at the cost.
Sure.
But these are things that I think were signed off on by better people a long time ago, and they're being squeezed by the shitty execs that they have now for these things. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And the process is hard. And then the movies are just not connecting with audiences. They're in a rough patch. But I do think, I will say this, Disney is a cyclical thing. I do feel like in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Oh, they were struggling.
It was the same thing where it was like, yo, remember when they made Lion King? What happened to these people? You know?
Yeah, and then remember the parks, no one was going.
Yeah.
And they made it Southern California had $25 to get in. Please come. They were doing it, trying to get people to go.
And then 2005 or so, they started playing Disneyland it's a 50th anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
Look at all the nostalgic stuff. Don't you remember how cool Disneyland was? And that worked.
It did.
That got people
me in.
Back the cycle up again.
That was the year I got my annual pass.
And then I remember in 2010, that year, Lost wrapped up. That was one of my favorite shows.
Yeah.
Maybe my favorite show ever. Disney owned that. I remember they dropped Toy Story 3, and it was like, damn, that was a good conclusion. That was fucking tight. Tron Legacy dropped, and it was like, fuck. I didn't think they were going to do that. That rocked my shit.
Yeah.
Daft Punk doing the soundtrack. I remember there were 8 things that year, and I remember specifically saying, damn, Disney's doing some hype shit right now. And I remember being hot on them. I would say, looking through my life, that was the moment I was most into Disney, where the parks, I was going to there and it was fun. There was new stuff coming. That was fun.
Yeah.
The movies were doing good, all that stuff. And now I think, we have cycled back around where it's like, yo, Disney, you got to stop being a money vacuum for a minute and focus on stuff. You know, you can't just I think their strategy for a while there was just acquire stuff, repeat what worked,
right?
Repeat what we've heard the audience saying they want. Bro, you got to give them what they don't know they want.
This is what happens to companies, and I'm going to use Microsoft as an example.
Yeah.
When they had the 360 and they were the king, they get we can do no wrong in their head a little bit. And whatever we do is going to be a success.
Totally.
And sometimes you fuck up afterwards. And Microsoft still has not recovered from the Xbox One. I don't think.
Yeah. I'm going to throw, you guys know I don't always do that. I'll throw Microsoft a bone. Their new console, the device is fucking sick.
I've heard, but the name,
but
I don't know what
publicly,
it's called. I don't know. I don't remember. Yeah. Is it the Series S?
X. There is a Series S and a Series X.
Yeah, which one is the new one?
Those are both the
They're
new
both
one.
Okay. See, fuck
There's
off.
It's a cheaper. S is the cheaper
Like
one.
the
and
no disc
X,
one?
X is the like de facto best one. But S is a cheaper one with no disc slot. Yeah.
So it's called the Xbox Series X is the best one.
Yes.
Yeah, you fucked up. Just call it the Xbox Magnet. Okay, I know it's different.
Maximum.
That's, I mean, even sure, I guess, but like Series X, just and after the Xbox One, fuck off. Fuck off. Anyways,
but sometimes you just burn your goodwill. Yeah, is what you're getting.
And so Disney is in this mode right now where I feel like every movie they released was kind of they thought it'd be bigger than it was.
Yes.
Even that Wish movie, like,
yes.
You know, I have younger kids, and not once have they even mentioned that movie. They didn't want to see it. They don't give a fuck.
Can I say where they tremendously fucked up? And I know Kevin's in the other room. I'm curious if he agrees with me on this.
He doesn't.
You know, if I hear him, great. If I don't, he's busy, whatever. But where they fucked up, that Wish movie, that Disney Wish movie, I remember being at D23 Expo, and they said, we've got an animated movie to celebrate our 100th year of Disney.
Mm-hmm.
And we have such a timeless history of classic animation. And I'm sitting there thinking, oh, they're going to do a new 2D animated Disney movie.
Right.
For their 100th anniversary.
That makes sense.
And nope, it's CG movie that looks like the last 50 of them that they did. And I remember thinking, and tell me if I'm wrong, Kevin, he's standing off camera. If they had hand animated it, like fucking Ghibli'd that thing, hand animation like the classics, we would have made an effort to see it. Yep. Don't you think?
He agrees. Princess and the Frog was a good movie.
Was good.
And I saw that movie because it was back to the old ways.
But don't you think if they would have said like, hey, this new Disney movie, we are going hand animation, no computers, we're doing it the way Disney used to do it. Mm-hmm. I think we all would have actually made an effort. You know, I'm a Disney fan, you know, whatever. They got a legacy or whatever. I would have made the effort to like, I got to see that in the theater.
Sure.
Nope. But instead, quick buck, CGI it, make it look like they all have the same face. They all have that same face that the Frozen characters have. That it just did not stand out. So why go?
Why go?
I
don't even know what the movie's about. I have no idea.
It's the origin of the wishing star that everyone makes a wish on. And I'm going to say something. I'm not going to spoil the movie.
Yeah. Okay.
I didn't see it, but I know things about it.
Mm.
It connects to some of the Disney movies of the past. That is the wishing star.
Oh, so every time you mention it in a movie,
that's been in movies before, and it's connected to those movies. So when people saw it, they were like, "Wait, what the fuck?" I think they just mentioned it. It's like, yeah, it was meant to be the culmination of 100 years of Disney animation, and it kind of connects to them. But
you fucked that.
But again, they failed to honor it in an art sense. They dropped the ball. We're at a point where just mentioning other series, it's no longer a surprise. It's more just, yeah, Disney owns all these, so they're mentioning what they own. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. If they would have made this artful piece, hand-drawn animation, I think people would have respected that a lot more. But it's just, they just keep farming shit out for an instant buck instead of a lasting legacy, and it really sucks. So anyway.
Yeah. It does.
That's where the company's at right now, and
they need.
I'm glad they're getting their ass kicked. They needed it.
Well, they needed a hit with Indiana Jones, and they thought it was going to be a hit because the budget was about $300 million.
Yeah,
that's a lot of fucking money.
I remember hearing about that years ago. Like they're doing like a blowout Indiana Jones. It's probably going to be Harrison's last. John Williams said it might be his last movie. Is going to be his last movie, and now he's since gone back on that again. He's retired on like 8 different movies. Yeah, he's 92, and he's like, no, I'm going to do another movie. Oh,
okay, you know what? Good. Honestly,
if he wants to do it,
why not?
But maybe he's just broke. He's like, oh,
I spent it all.
I gotta write another theme. But anyway, it was. I could have told you, and I'm not an exec. When I heard that the new movie, it's going to be like a $300 million blockbuster, I thought, damn, that what a epic miscalculation.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones is not a concept that warrants that even a little bit. Mm-hmm. It is a man looking for artifacts if I hear Star Wars is 300 million. Now, you know, let's not even get into where is Star Wars at in the movie world right now. Okay. Pretty dire there. But Star Wars, if I hear it's 300 million, oh, they must go to a lot of planets. This must be it's a war. It's war. It's epic. I could see them doing that. Indiana Jones does not in any way warrant that. No. That's almost a mark against it.
And not only that, if this was following Last Crusade and they never made Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, I would almost give you like, well, I mean, maybe. People love Indiana Jones.
Yes.
But people were burnt. Like myself, I did not give a fuck about this movie.
Yeah.
Because I was burned with Crystal Skull. And I'm like, well, I don't give a fuck. You already did this.
Yeah. It's really sad how they spent their chips on that movie.
They did.
Because I remember being at Comic-Con and just low-key they handed out posters and it said Memorial Day 2008 and it was old artwork of Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
And it was like, holy shit, he's coming back.
Yeah.
I never thought he would come back to do this.
No.
He's doing it.
Yeah.
And remember, it was just like, I'll believe it when I see it.
I even bought the Entertainment Weekly because they had an interview about it before it came out because I was really excited. So excited for the new Indiana Jones. Now, here's the thing is like that movie wasn't good, whatever. But like, yeah, as you said, they spent their chips. Like I'm looking at this movie and it was like, oh man, he's old now.
Yeah.
It's old Indiana Jones. Like
talking about the fourth one.
The fourth one.
Crystal Skull, yeah.
Crystal Skull.
Right.
Oh, now he's too old for this shit, that's kind of where we're at.
Yeah.
And so when they told us about this one, it's like, yeah, he was old for that shit then. Now he's even more old, too old for this shit now. And I already saw this.
Again, that's another thing they spent their chips on. The I'm too old for this card. Although it is funny because if you go back and watch Crystal Skull now, very little of that movie is I'm too old for this shit.
Yeah,
like that was the angle maybe in the marketing,
right?
But the movie itself, it's kind of like business as usual with him. This is the one where there is actually like my age is like what do I do kind of thing. You know, it becomes more of a factor. But
definitely. But anyways, so that is kind of why I was, didn't even bother watching the trailers.
Yeah,
didn't care at all.
Yeah.
Even Rocco saw it and he's like, "Hey, I think you might dig it. You should check it out." And I was like, I don't care. I don't care. And if it wasn't for this podcast, I would have never watched this movie. But I did.
Sad state of things though that it's
it really is because Indiana Jones to me is especially like I never liked Temple of Doom. That was always too much for me as a kid. And as an adult now, I just like it doesn't connect with me. I know people love that movie.
That's one of my favorite movies.
And
it really is.
And I get it. It just never did anything for me. But Last Crusade, especially for the father son,
the best one. That is still the best one.
Best one. It's very rare that the third one is by far and away the best one of anything.
Not everyone agrees with that. Not everyone agrees with that. And I will say too, maybe my hot take is so many people I know, Raiders is their number one, and I have just never thought that. Classic. It's a classic movie, but I always thought Indiana Jones got more interesting over the course of them. I liked Temple of Doom, but especially Last Crusade, I don't know. I liked seeing another side to him.
Yeah.
And Raiders was never my favorite, but all three of the original to me are classic.
So then the fourth one, we all agree, is not good. I don't think does anyone like that movie?
I think some people do. Again, though, I think I want to make my intentions clear on the fourth one. Yeah. I don't hate it. People were raging out about, the aliens. Oh, aliens. Yeah. Oh, they nuked he got into a fridge and the nuke went on them. I didn't care about any of that.
You know what? The aliens never bother me.
No.
The nuke in the fridge,
is
fine.
Stupid.
It's stupid, but it's fine.
Again, like you had old ones where he jumps out of a plane in a raft. Yeah. And he lands and he's fine. These were stupid. I don't know. Like that's all. Indiana Jones has always been ridiculous. That never bothered me. What bothered me with the fourth one, it just felt like no one was. It just felt incredibly like, we got to do this. Let's just do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It didn't, that passion, it just felt like it was phoned in.
It was the use of CG with the monkeys.
CG made it tepid.
Swinging.
Yeah.
And like Shia LaBeouf as the son was a weird thing. And you could tell like they didn't really know what to do. Like, is he going to be the next Indiana Jones? Is that what we're going to do? If this movie's a hit, then I guess we'll do that.
It didn't, it was in this weird, to use this comparison, if you go on Pirates of the Caribbean, the pirate that's got all the hats and he's stepping onto the boat.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't want to fall, but he doesn't want to, he wants to get in the boat, but he doesn't want to fall either. So it's kind of like, do you step in the boat or step off the, that's where that movie lands. It's like, we're not really kind of committing to anything bold here.
No. And so that movie is bad. I don't mind the aliens, but it's a terrible movie.
The CG aliens, I don't like the use of that.
No,
but the alien concept, I didn't care.
And I will never forgive the monkey swing on the vines situation. That was like,
no, why are we watching this?
How could you put this in this movie?
Who cares about that? Yeah.
So they came back. This is the first time they made an Indiana Jones movie, and Lucas and Spielberg had nothing to do with it at all, right?
Spielberg, I think, is still
producing, but he didn't.
I think they still kind of ran shit by him.
Oh, you think okay.
I think they showed him stuff like, what do you think? But he wasn't like on the board, like writing it. It was just kind of like, make sure the man is cool with it. Hey, we're gonna do this, Dial of Destiny, and he was like, oh, that's a great, like the MacGuffin is the Archipiki Tamagotchi. What is it called? The Archimiki.
Oh, I am.
I forgot the name of it.
What is that?
Antikythera
mechanism.
Antikythera. Whatever. They showed that to him, and he was like, "Oh, that's a great thing to do an Indiana Jones on." That kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Sure.
That kind of thing. I think that's the most he was involved.
But he didn't direct it.
No.
He didn't come up with the story.
Didn't write it.
Really.
Didn't direct it. None of that.
Just gave it a couple thumbs ups along the way.
James Mangold apparently said Spielberg did chill in the edit bay.
Oh, okay.
When they were editing it, he actually did kind of stick around for that. So okay, but still,
John Williams came back, as we said. I will say this, and this could be a very hot take. So everyone, get your oven mitts on. I didn't think the music was very good in this movie, and I looked it up in the middle, being like, "This can't be John Williams. This sucks." Yeah, and it was, and I was like, "What? What?" I was kind of surprised, honestly.
I didn't think it was. I never had the thought it was bad. It just didn't stand out in any way to me at all. When it ended, I was like, "Oh yeah, John Williams did music for that." I didn't even think about it. You know what I mean? Didn't hit me.
There was one car chase scene, and I was like, "This music does not go with this at all." But yeah, maybe I'm crazy. It was really. I
didn't think about it.
Well, that says something, though.
Yeah.
If you didn't think about it, it's John Williams. Like, you always think about it. That's what his magic is.
I didn't think he stood out like super huge in the last 3 Star Wars either. But there were still moments of, like, right now. Ray's
theme is
Ray's
great.
theme is
Ray's
good.
theme is awesome.
Kylo Ren's theme is low-key underrated, too. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
Like, that plays in the park still, and it's like, oh, shit. It's like, those are new.
Yeah, those are new, and they're great.
So, he had a little bit of that juice, but Indiana Jones.
I would say that is you're right with those themes.
Yeah.
And the fact that, like, that theme, I think, is right on par with, like, Leia's theme. It's like, it's a great theme. Like, John Williams, I've been on record of saying, like, he is like our modern day Mozart. Like, he has done things and changed music forever. Yeah. With his themes of movies and how he scores them, and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
This one didn't do it for me, and I was surprised.
You know what I was surprised by too, and I don't know if it was an intent. It probably was. Bear with me here. Steven Spielberg, after doing Schindler's List, was like, "Hey, I'm not going to have Nazis be the villains in, like, Indiana Jones and stuff. I don't want them to be stock villains,
right? Because
that's pretty serious stuff."
Yeah.
James Mangold kind of had, now all these years later, a different angle where he's like, "Well, I kind of want to tell a story," and I actually think this is a good angle, where he's like, "I kind of think we need to tell a story how, like, things like this don't go away. Like, they fucking lost, and look." Here they are again, doing it. He didn't make them just like stock villains, right, but they're involved in the story.
Yeah.
But what I'm getting at here is the Nazis had, like, their own theme musically in the old one, and I kept expecting that to come back.
Yeah.
In Dial of Destiny, where you would hear, I don't know if you remember, dun, 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 dun. You would hear that kick in when they would like show up in Last Crusade.
Yes.
And I kept waiting, and I think I hear like fragments of that in this movie, but I wonder if that was a thing where it's like, hey, that is a little bit making them like the cartoony villain.
Right.
Maybe we don't add that part to it. You know what I mean? I'm curious what their intention was with that. So anyway.
Well, do you want to get through the plot? Just talk about it really quick. Now, movie starts, and it starts back in 1944.
Yes.
When the Nazis captured Indiana Jones. Now,
I think we might have hot takes out the gate here.
Oh, well,
I don't know, but
I don't know what you're gonna say because I do.
I don't know what you're gonna say.
I thought it looked fucking great. I thought the de-aging looked good, and I was very impressed.
All right, you ready for?
I'm nervous, but I'm ready. I gave you my honest take. Go ahead.
I think this opening is some of the dopest shit in this movie. And I keep seeing fucking tweets that are like, who else laughed when they saw how pathetic Harrison Ford? Look at the stupid cartoon they tried to pass off the movie. Hey, I thought this looked legit great.
Yeah.
I thought this opening was like, I've said this before, Indiana Jones, the Phantom Pain. It is young Indiana Jones fucking sleuthing his way through this train. He can't get through. He's got the, first of all, let me set the stage. Shawn, we saw this movie Anime Expo weekend. It came out, that's when it came out.
Sure.
And me and all the other guys set up the booth. We were all like tired and sweaty from that.
Right.
All that stuff. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to take the other guys out to a movie, popcorn on me, snacks on me.
Dang.
Whatever you want. As a thank you, let's all go to the movies.
Okay.
We did it. We went. We sat down, ready for Anime Expo, and this movie starts, and they're going, "Where's the Lance of Longinus? Bring it to us." I'm like, Garrett.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Because we sat down like, I don't know anything about this movie. I don't know what the relic is that they're going to be after. I don't know. And when it was the Lance of Longinus, me and Garrett were like, how is this so perfect that we have Evangelion lore in? Anyway, this felt like the fucking Phantom Pain of Indiana Jones to me. And I thought the de-aging worked really well in this. I thought it was really well done. So
here's the thing.
Thumbs up for me.
When I'm going to spoil, if anyone gives a fuck about the end of season 2 of Mandalorian, I'm going to spoil it. So buckle up if you care about that.
Yeah.
Whatever. Mute this for a couple minutes.
Yeah.
The Luke Skywalker de-aging in that looked terrible.
Yeah,
bad.
It didn't bother me as much as other people. Just in the sense of like, it never bothers me in Star Wars because there's already so much I'm putting my imagination away. Like, all right, whatever. But now I will say though, Shawn, I don't think you saw all of Book of Boba Fett.
No, I didn't see any of it. Not one episode.
They see him again in that, and it's amazing.
Is it?
Now his voice, they tried to do a thing on his voice, and that kind of flattened his performance a little bit. But visually, it was like, God damn.
Okay.
They improved. It's like they heard the feedback from that and went, hey, we can't do that again.
Because I honestly, when he showed up, I was like, is that supposed to be Luke? I don't know who this is. I guess it's Luke.
Yeah.
But with this, there was no question I was watching Indiana Jones.
Yeah, they nailed it.
The voice was a little different. But I didn't care. Yeah. It's fine.
So they actually, and this is where you might get into a little bit of back and forth on should they have done this or not. They shot this whole thing with Harrison Ford. He did it all. Occasionally there was a stunt I'm sure he didn't do, but
sure.
That's his performance. They shot him. And that's where I think the only part that's a little dodgy, once again, voice stuff. That's his voice as an 80-year-old man doing that. And, they would tweak it a little bit, but that's the only part that's a little dodgy. But you know what? But it's him. It's his energy.
I would rather it be his voice as a little older now than someone else doing it.
Yeah.
So
I agree with you completely. Yeah.
Like that to me is like, I'd rather that than a Harrison Ford impersonator. So this is okay to me. Okay. So Bird 1944, he's being chased by the Nazis through a train. Looking for, I can't say that, the Antikythera
mechanism.
Yes. built by the ancient Syracusanian mathematician Archimedes. Okay, I said there's a lot of words in there.
Yeah.
That was tough.
Yeah.
Which reveals time fissures, allowing for possible time travel.
Yes, and this is a real relic.
It
this
is
a real
and
thing that he made.
That
That he made almost like a calendar to like, could I predict weather? Could I predict this? So all they did in this movie is turn the dial up a little, so to speak, up a little bit, where it's like, no, he thought he could predict a lot more than the weather.
Okay.
It was, potential fissures in time itself.
Yeah. So then he obtains the dial piece, and then he and this guy, is this guy new? I think he is. The old man who's with him.
His assistant. Guy.
I don't remember him from the
He always has a different assistant
Yeah,
in every movie, even Temple of Doom. He in the first minute, a guy gets shot. And we had so many adventures together. Thanks for being my partner. It's like, I don't even know this guy. We haven't met this guy, but he always has a assistant we didn't meet.
So the two leap from the train just before the Allied forces derail it and crash it. You know, it was a big explosion, a lot of CG, but it wasn't the fugitive train crash, which was pretty cool. This was okay.
Yeah,
it was fine.
Yeah.
But I will say that the whole chase, as you said, through the train, I was surprised how long he was young for.
Yeah,
and that's where I think a lot of this money went.
I agree,
because they didn't shy away from. It was like a 15-20 minute sequence of him being young, which was, I'm sure, expensive.
Yeah, I mean, Irishman was a hugely expensive movie for Scorsese too, and he de-aged these guys half the damn movie. Right. There wasn't a lot of other big budget stuff, but that cost so much, so I'm sure.
Okay, 25 years later, in 1969, Indy is retiring from Hunter College in New York City, and his wife, Marion, has recently filed for a legal separation after her son, Mutt, was killed in the Vietnam War. So, got rid of the Mutt problem right off the bat.
Yeah, and this is jumping around because that's not revealed until
later.
Way later, when it's like, what would you do if you could control time? What would you do, right. Indy?
And he says that.
And he says,
well, you do know in the beginning that he's retiring and that he and Marion seem to be not together.
Yes.
So that you do know.
He saw like divorce papers or something in the mail. But again, just jumping around, I will say everyone, at least I know, had that question of like, how are they going to handle the Mutt thing? I don't think he's in this. How are they handling that? I thought they handled that extremely well.
I did too.
Yeah, that was like, I didn't think you were going to make me sad about Mutt.
I didn't either, and like
didn't
the fact
think
that
was going to happen,
and you killed him off in the Vietnam War. Like, okay, I guess you're showing what time it is,
and they gave that a minute to like sit. That was like, damn, he's fucked. Indy was fucked up.
And like honestly, Harrison Ford gave a good performance with that. I thought it was
that was a classic Harrison Ford.
It was touching
moment. Yeah,
and as you said, I didn't think I'd give a fuck about Mutt being gone because I hated Mutt.
Yeah,
so that was a surprise.
Yeah.
All right. So then, now here's the thing about this movie, and we've already gone half an hour. I don't know how long this movie club is going to be, but
at least a couple hours.
Oh, that's too long. But this movie is pretty long and
too long,
and I think 154 minutes is how long this movie was.
Yeah, and
as you said last year, like that was your kind of criticism. Every movie you saw last year was like, cut a half hour of all of this.
I leave every movie going, that could have been shorter. We were just talking about Johnny saw Poor Things and he loved it. I loved it too, but I was like at the end going, I just keep sitting there going, yeah, that could have made that shorter. I know where we're going with this. Just cut this down. I'm that in every fucking movie I've seen this year.
There really is a weird thing to talk about, like, things going like cyclical with the Disney stuff, whenever. But that was a whole time around 2008 where movies were all 3 hours long, maybe a little earlier than that. Yeah. And then they had to dial it back a little bit. And so maybe that's where we're at again. It's like, we're at 3 hours again. Let's go back, guys. We can't do this.
Reached its peak in 2012. I remember literally it's like every movie I've seen this year is 3 hours. Like we gotta, and then it went away. I think we're hitting that right now. Every movie I see is like 2.5 plus.
Yeah.
So anyway,
need to be.
This did not need to be that. This could have been. There's plenty of things that could have been.
Plenty of things you could cut, and you could have saved a couple mil, Disney, which you needed to.
Yeah.
All right. So, I lost my spot. Helena Shaw, right? Indy's goddaughter visits him, and wants
daughter
to,
of that assistant
right
that he had. Yeah.
Right.
She's
and
hanging
you
around.
find out the one that guy even had a daughter, and two that's Indy's goddaughter.
Yeah.
And she wants to research the dial. Indy warns her that her deceased father Basil has became obsessed with studying the dial before relinquishing his half to Indy to destroy, which Indy never did destroy. He had it hidden in the college. And then kind of like Helena convinces him, like, well, let me see it and check some shit out or something.
Yeah.
Then he does. In the meantime, you kind of see, and I'm not going off the same, we're going off my memory, but you kind of see this Nazi guy from the past.
Yeah.
Who I kind of thought he was dead, like in the flashback.
Yeah, I didn't get that. Yeah, he fucking got his head murked in that by that sign. Like, oh, he's dead.
Like no one could have survived that.
Yeah.
But apparently, if you're a Nazi, you got a real strong head or some shit.
Hate keeps you alive.
Hate keeps you going. Apparently, like they say, evil can never die. Like if you're a really shitty person, you'll live forever, and the good ones die young. That's what That's what this is.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, he's in the U.S. now, and he seems to have this like 70s, is it 69? 69. Late 60s, early 70s vibe team with him to like, you don't know what the fuck they're doing, but they're looking for Indiana Jones and this girl now, and they'll kill pretty much anyone that gets in their way.
Yes.
Indy's like receptionist or whatever, who that was, I don't know who that was, or anyone. There's fucking
There's
dead.
a trail of murder leading to get to this.
Yeah.
There are a lot of them.
Which I liked how serious you instantly took them. Like, it wasn't like a wacky crew. It was like, oh, fuck, these guys are brutal.
Yeah, I will say one thing that this movie did right was putting a little bit more of that life and death back into it in terms of that. Like, damn, they're straight up killing people. Even later in the movie, you have like Indiana Jones gunplay again. Like, he's just fucking shooting people. They're like, I feel like we were missing that for a little bit, where it's like, no, we're straight up gun to gun here.
Yeah.
A little bit of that edge that we've been missing even since like Raiders. Like Raiders, you got that famous bar scene where he's just shooting motherfuckers.
Yeah.
I feel like we haven't seen that in a while, and that's definitely back in this. So that was kind of interesting.
So then Helena is revealed in this moment when she has the dial to be an antique smuggler and wants to sell the dial on the black market, and kind of just like tricked Indy to showing her where it was. And it's like, I don't know what these guys are all about, but fuck off. I'm leaving. I'm going to go sell this somewhere in the Middle East or something like that. Then what happens? Too much happens in this fucking movie. They go to Tangier. Indy flees the country to get those people away. Okay, then you see her trying to sell it on the black market.
Yeah.
Indy disrupts her illegal private auction, but Voller, that's the guy played by Mads Mikkelsen, who I love.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah, he's great.
He's great. I'm sorry, everyone. I lost my spot again. Oh, no. I'll go back real quick. I really did like it. Did put you pretty well into 1969 with like the Apollo moon landing you talked about.
Yeah.
There's Vietnam War protests. Like, I did feel like they definitely. Indiana Jones has always done a good job making you feel like you're in the place the time you should be.
Yes.
So I did like that.
Right down to, and again, we're talking about spending money. How the budget of this was so big. They got original recording, Magical Mystery Tour.
Oh, yeah, they did.
That is not a cover. So once again, flexing that $300 million budget. That I cannot imagine was cheap.
There's other songs you could have used. I'm glad you used it, but you could have used other ones.
But that was legit. Hearing that, it sells you on the time.
Oh,
it's
for sure.
Okay, yeah, they're blasting that record. It's the ultimate stoner record to play, at that time.
So Helena tries to sell the shit. Indy ruins it. Voller shows up, and he steals the artifact. Indy and Helena now. Okay, so here's the thing: is like he's mad at her, but now they're kind of working together, which I think happens in every Indiana Jones movie, where it's like there's a girl. Maybe he's going to betray him. Maybe he's not going to betray him. That's kind of like a running Indiana Jones theme, I suppose.
Yeah.
Definitely in Last Crusade, I can think of it, but I don't know. Whatever. Then
I mean, Willie Scott is a little bit like, it's not like she's trying to dupe it. She's trying to just be safe and get home.
Right.
But she still, gets like, oh, fuck this guy. I'm going to go do this. You know, there's a little bit of that energy.
So then they have this long chase scene through the streets in a tuk-tuk. And I thought that was way too long. This chase scene kept going, and like a couple times, like they were going down this stairs in this tuk-tuk, and it crashes so fucking hard. It's like, well, that would have killed anyone on this fucking thing. And they just keep going. It's like, I mean, why'd you show me that? Like, you didn't need to do this. Like, just keep. I don't know.
I agree. I think that maybe my biggest problem with this movie is I felt I was in like chase overload.
Yeah.
I felt like, okay, we chased through this. He got chased through the subway. He's on a horse. Kind of dug that. I thought that was kind of neat.
Well, they even started with the chase on the train.
Yeah.
And then chasing the subway. Yeah.
Subway and then now we're in the marketplace. It's like, well, we're doing another chase. Okay. It just felt like,
too many chase scenes.
Like I'm going numb here.
I really was. And, I mean, not to say like I don't love a good chase scene, but I don't need them every 15 minutes. I don't need that. Yeah. Anyways, the CIA intercepts Voller, and the U.S. government disavows him for going rogue because he did actually help them get to the moon. He was one of the scientists who helped with that. But his cohorts murdered the agents and steal their helicopters. So the CIA people that were his cool crew, he ends up murdering, keeps a couple of people who are on his side, Nazis, and then they steal their helicopter to go find the rest of the dial. Indy and Helena and Teddy, which is we haven't mentioned before, but that's like their what's the kid's name in Temple of Doom?
Short Round.
Short Round. Yeah. That's the new Short Round, I'm guessing. Yeah.
I just feel like this is another thing with the movie. I feel like there's a real lack of like personality here. Like I feel like this kid is kind of just there. I don't know. I didn't really feel like Indy's sidekicks I will say in the Spielberg movies, his sidekicks always have some kind of gimmick to them, like, oh, it's this guy. Oh, this kid. I just feel like, yeah, we found a kid, and he was kind of just not that. To me, it was just lacking. I wasn't engaged really with that character.
Yeah, and like I could read verbatim what the plot is here, but like to me, it all boils down to like it just is it's a typical Indiana Jones movie where it's like, oh, but Indy always knows where it's going, and the bad guy who has a piece of it and is looking for the same thing doesn't. Yeah. And so what Indy's gonna do is he's gonna use the clues, so him and Helena team up and they figure out, okay, we know where the ship sank. Yeah. If we could just dive down there, Indy's like, I know a diver. We have a boat. We'll go do it. Yeah. And then just like in typical Indiana Jones fashion, it's them going down, getting the thing. And just as they get it, the bad guys showed up. Yeah. And now they're going to kill, was it Antonio Banderas?
Yes.
Which I didn't know he was in the movie. That was a surprise.
Yeah. But that's another character that was like, they kill him. It's like, oh, Indy's friend. Oh, they killed him. All right. I didn't really know him.
Yeah, but then he's upset and she doesn't care. She's like, well,
can you imagine? Like they brought back Sola in this movie, by the way. You see him earlier in the movie,
which was awesome.
That was cool. That they, Indiana Jones helped him move into the U.S. with his family and stuff like that. Can you imagine if Sola helped him in this part and Voller fucking killed him? Oh, it would have been like, no,
that would have been terrible.
But it being Antonio Banderas. Surprise! Oh, it's Antonio Banderas. I didn't know he was in this. He's dead. Okay. No. This part where they go scuba diving for the thing, to me was like, again, could have cut this.
Yep.
I don't know. They're looking for another artifact to find the main artifact. I just felt like,
just find the main artifact.
Yeah, just cut.
Completely agree.
Yeah.
So they find the other artifact to find the artifact they're looking for. They find out it's inside the Ear of Dionysus cavern, which is a clip. This is like a funny Indiana Jones thing where it's like, oh, it's a cave. It looks like an ear. You have to go where the echo disappears. Yeah. Okay, this is a fun thing.
This felt like classic Indiana Jones kind of thing to me.
The pair also find the tomb, Archimedes' tomb, but he's wearing a 20th century wristwatch.
Oh.
Which is fucking weird.
That's weird.
That doesn't add up.
This, like I said, felt like, okay, we got some juice back. This is Indiana Jones.
Yep.
This felt like that.
Yep. They also find a carving on the wall. Archimedes' skeleton there's a carving next to it of a phoenix with propellers on his tomb.
Yeah. She's like, this fucking dragon has propellers.
This doesn't make
something
sense.
Weird here.
Voller appears, of course, when they have the dial completed.
Yeah.
And captures Indy and then steals the thing.
And again, gunfight here. I feel like you haven't seen Indy use a gun in like a couple movies. Temple of Doom, he doesn't have a gun ever. Last Crusade, I can't remember, but I don't have a lot of memories of him getting in gunfights.
He does have a gun for sure. I think he does.
I don't remember. He does in Crusade. Okay. I don't remember that happening in Crystal Skull, but yeah, in this one, it is like, yo, it's come to this. We're fucking gunfight, like straight up, you know?
Yeah.
So anyway.
So Indy gets wounded here, and then, it's...
Yeah, Indy gets, Indy's critically
So now
wounded.
Voller has the thing he needs, and Indy's fucking shot, and it's, it's always like the part where it's like, there's no hope left. Everything has gone to shit.
Yeah.
But don't worry, Indy's gonna find a way. After resembling the dial, Voller reveals his plan, and he wants to travel back to 1939 to assassinate Adolf Hitler.
Yeah, well, and I thought this was really well executed too. The unfurling of this plan, where it's like you're gonna go back in time to do some Nazi shit, and Indiana just calls him out. He's like, I already see where this is going. Who are you gonna assassinate? JFK?
Yeah. No,
like,
Roosevelt? Yeah, whoever.
Roosevelt or whatever he says. Just like, what good people are you going to assassinate? And then it's like, no, I'm going to kill Hitler.
Which is what everyone says.
What, the Nazis want to kill Hitler?
Yeah,
and it's like, and he says, basically, Hitler lit a fire, but that could have lasted generations. Like, he started it, but he didn't know how to, like, carry that, like, keep that fire lit. And we're going to do that. And I think this is really well done because it would have been easy to have him be like, no, I'm going to go back and kill the president.
Churchill, you're fucked.
Yeah. But instead it's like, no, it's tying into the bigger theme that happens in all the Indiana Jones movies, which is Indiana Jones is an awesome action hero, but it's kind of always up to the villain to fuck their own shit up.
Yeah.
Like bad shit will always get in its own way kind of thing. You know what I mean? And he sees it unfold here where it's like, no, I'm going to go back and kill Hitler. I'm going to do that. And it's like, you're going to kill your own fucking dude. Like, and it starts to unravel a little bit.
It's an interesting thought.
Yeah.
That like, oh yeah, like even the bad guys want to kill Hitler because he fucked it up.
Like even Hitler's not fucking Nazi enough for you.
Yeah, right.
It never ends. It doesn't ever end.
Yeah.
Which again, I think kind of justified the Nazis being back in this. It's the theme.
Yeah.
It's like this will just not stop.
I mean, you see fucking people going through like rallies today wearing fucking Nazi flags.
Yes.
Like, that's a thing that's happening in this fucking country today.
Because it's never enough.
Because what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like what the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, it is like the ultimate like. To me, it's the ultimate evil. It's like you see that flag, it's an instant fuck this person. You know, that's what it is.
Yeah.
So, anyways.
Yeah, Mads starts putting the uniform on.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we're gonna go back, and I got the gear on. You know, here's the swastika. It's like, okay, well, we're doing it.
Yeah. Anyways, so then they have the dials on the plane. Indy is finding a way to get onto the. He's kidnapped. Actually, he's with them.
Yes, Indy's wounded and kidnapped on their plane.
But Helena,
they're gonna go use the Antikythera to find this time fissure,
and he wants Indy to witness this. Like, hey, you're gonna see the shit that I pull off. You're not gonna fucking believe this.
Yeah.
So they do start doing the time fissures. You see like weird shit going on.
I see it.
There's a plane behind them. It is Helena. She's on this plane as well. She's also on the plane.
Yes.
No one knows this.
She's stowed away on
it.
The
kid is on another plane that he commandeered.
Yeah.
I kind of thought it was stupid that this happened, but the idea that there was a guy sleeping in the back who woke up and had to deal with this shit.
What are you doing with my plane?
Like, and then is like just put this adventure was kind of funny. I was, that's kind of.
Yeah, I agree.
Then, Indy realizes like you're not accounting for what was he accounting for?
I can handle this part because
Please,
this is one of my
thank God.
favorite parts in this movie.
Okay, good.
It's the again. Evil always kind of gets in its own way. They fuck their own thing up. And it's always, like you said, Indiana always has like one extra factoid. The Joneses always have an extra factoid that they don't.
Right.
Don't open your eyes during the thing. Temple of Doom, he starts to pick up the thing with fire. Oh, fire woke me up out of the thing, da-da-da-da-da-da. Last Crusade, it was it was his dad in the position where also Jehovah starts with an I.
It was exactly that, and it was also like knowing what cup.
Yeah,
he just
that's the cup of a carpenter.
Yeah, he knew that
exactly. Oh, I should have brought. I got the Holy Grail.
It's right there. I see it.
Yeah, get it.
Okay.
That's the I was. So you could see the gold cup down there, but no, this is the cup of a carpenter right here. I could have had this on display the whole time.
Well, there you go.
Anyway, yeah, it's that. He's always got a leg up. Indy doesn't have it this whole movie. He keeps getting thwarted. Like you said, he always has the upper. No, he doesn't. He never has it in this movie. And then right at the last second, they're flying towards the time fissure, and Indiana has an epiphany. Continental drift. What? Archimedes didn't know yet, no one did, about continental drift. The continents move, everything shifts. They have shifted over 2,000 years or however long. You're not heading for the time period at the right angle and the thing that the dial is saying. You're not heading for where you think you're headed to. It's not going to be the Third Reich, buddy. Yeah. It's not. And they're like, shut up. You're an idiot. Shut up. And he's going, oh, you're in for a treat. Oh, like he's got them.
Yeah.
And it's like, is he right? And again, I thought they handled this scene so well because you're headed for that crack in the sky. It's a rift in time. Who's right? Is Indy right? No, you're wrong. Is Indy right? You're wrong. You're right. And they go through, and what do we see? It worked. It's the storm's gone. Daytime. Are those Roman ships? Are those Roman ships? Oops. You're in 200 BC or whatever time it is.
Rocco.
Was that it?
212 BC. Wow.
Oops. I think again, maybe this is hot take. So I don't know because I don't know what you thought about this.
Yeah.
I thought this was not only a great payoff to that whole gambit, but I think the last act of this movie, the last chunk of this movie that we're entering here, took a big swing, took a risk.
Yeah.
And I think it paid off. When it hits this part, I was just like, damn, this is another part. The budget of the movie is flexed. But what impressed me was, you didn't promote this part of the movie. You didn't show it in any of the, it's very rare for them to spend this much money in a movie and not flex it in the trailer or whatever, but they kept it to themselves. So when they're in fucking ancient Rome or whatever, I'm like, damn, you fucking kept that in your back pocket.
Yeah.
I was a fan.
I was so surprised. I was so surprised.
Yeah.
But not in a bad way. It was like, oh, fuck. Like, this, and here's
they committed. They committed.
Like in the world of Indiana Jones, you've seen some crazy shit.
Yeah.
You've seen aliens fly away. You've seen whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm on board with this. All this shit always working.
Yeah.
I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
And so when it worked, but it got back to here, I was like, well, how the fuck you get out of this one? Like, I was definitely into it here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree. And if they would have shown it in the trailer though, how can you? That wouldn't have made sense at all. Like you would see that and be like, what? Like I would have been more turned off by the movie. I think you couldn't show it in the trailer.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, it really would have been like, I don't know what the fuck are they doing in this movie.
Yeah,
I don't care. But saving it for this, well played.
Yeah.
I thought, well played.
Now, so now there's fucking planes flying around, and all the Roman people are like, it's a fucking dragon. Which is another fun thing of like, oh, maybe that's why people think dragons exist at all.
Yeah, that might have started the myth.
This thing right here,
yeah,
they're seeing a fucking dragon fly.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
I thought that was a cool little nod to like, oh yeah, something like this could have made people think they're dragons.
Yeah.
You know, that's like with like anything at all. It's always like, oh, there's probably a really simple explanation of what this actually was, but like, how would they ever know that?
Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
like if you're an ancient person and you see the Aurora Borealis, like, that's God.
I saw
I'm
God.
looking at God.
Yeah. It's not like you got internet to debunk shit.
Right.
It's like, 100 people saw the freakiest thing.
You can't Google what you just saw. It's just like, well, I saw God in the sky, and now I know to not eat berries on a certain time of day or whatever the fuck.
Let me tell you, not to divert, not to tangent too much. This is one of the aspects. I'm not going to. Prometheus came out in 2012.
Yeah,
I'm not going to say that was a perfect movie.
I like that movie though,
but low key, there was mythological stuff that was really cool about it.
Yeah,
and one of them was how they kept saying it. They kept saying like when they sealed this thing or whatever, we sent one of our engineers down to Earth 2,000 years ago, and it went bad. So that's what changed their mind about like humanity needs to die. And it's like that maybe that's where the Jesus Christ thing started.
Oh,
you know what I mean? A small group saw it's the timing is perfect. Like there's lots of Christmas stuff in the movie, and then they keep saying, "Oh, 2,000 years ago, this happened 2,000 years." And I always love that kind of thing. Like, oh, maybe that's where a lot of things started. Is like one group saw one thing happen, and it became this and this and this and this. So I always love storytelling like that. Star Trek did that a bunch of times too. Star Trek did stuff where it's like they saw the colony saw the Enterprise one time and they've worshipped it ever since. So I always love that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, anyways, they see this thing. Archimedes is there, sees it, looks at his dial, realized I think I did it. I think this is what this is.
Yeah.
Goes and finds the planes that landed.
Oh yeah, so then the Nazis fucking, we should say, they fucking don't know how to handle where they are, and they just, I mean, there's a point where they're getting shot at with arrows.
Yeah.
A guy, it's like, wait, what is happening? They just fucking crash into the ground.
Yeah.
Like Voller and his right-hand man are just looking at each other. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? And it's just literally.
Yeah.
Their ship, their plane crashes. Yeah. They just crash. They have no plan. That's it.
But the Indiana Jones and Helena survive.
Yes.
And then that plane that kid stole turns out to be very handy for them.
Yes, that's their out.
So then Archimedes investigates the crash, finds Indiana Jones, who was still wounded.
Yeah. Should say, I don't know if you're getting to this, but Archimedes is investigating the plane crash and all that stuff, and sees Voller's watch.
Right.
So that's their thing for like why they found a modern watch in
he found
in that tomb earlier. It's like, dope watch.
Yep.
Don't mind if I do. Zip. Takes it.
Indiana Jones seems to be dying here, and it's like, hey, that time rift is gonna close soon. You have to go. I'm staying here.
Yeah,
like, this is where
Indy stand.
This is what I want to see. Like I've spent my whole life invested, like studying this, and now I'm fucking here. I'm not going anywhere. Yeah. Now, what I didn't understand is that Helena at one point, or maybe it's Indy, says, like, because right now Archimedes' home was being attacked by the Romans.
Yeah,
and I think they mentioned like, oh, it was all the time rest were going to leave back to here.
Yeah.
It was always to come back here to help them. It was like not a trick, but that's what they wanted.
Archimedes wanted that, like, kind of designed the thing to be like they would return someday to deliver that
to this moment.
Yes.
So they were never going to go back to 1939, right? Like that's not possible. It was always meant to go back here.
There's different rules with fictional. I'm saying fictional. Obviously, it's fictional. Time travel.
Yeah.
And the rule here is what happened. They always came to this time.
Right.
They
always, it was never gonna be anything else.
Yeah. That was always what happened.
Yeah.
So it was.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Anyways, so Helena's like, yeah, you can't stay here. Like you're gonna change history. You have to. You have to come back with us. But he's like, I am staying here. I'm gonna die here. This is where I'm ending up. And then she knocks him out, and he wakes up in bed back home, back in 1969. And, you know, you think he's going to be pissed maybe a little bit. Like that he had that taken away from him where he wanted to be is now gone. He doesn't seem that mad. And then Marion walks in with Sala. And it's a nice little, like, reunion of all, like, the old cast together. And Marion seems to have, you know, wanted to work things out with Indy, you know.
Yes. And
Sala is there. They take the kids for ice cream, and Helena goes with them. And it kind of just ends with, like, the idea that, like, you know, Helena and Marion are going to reconcile and get back together. It's kind of what you are led to believe, I suppose. Mm-hmm. And then that's kind of the end, right? Am I missing anything? Or that's...
No, they have a moment where it's like, let's talk, you know. And then they echo the where does it hurt moment from Raiders of the Lost Ark. Here, kisses it, here, you know. Yeah. That we get a little bookend with that, and it ends on his hat.
You know, Marion has aged she was, I mean, like in the first movie, she's like beautiful.
She was in Scrooge too.
Scrooge, beautiful.
Yeah.
But in this too, it's like, damn, she looks great. I don't know how old she is, but she looks great.
Yeah.
Anyways, so that's the 5th Indiana Jones movie in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Now, is there anything else you want to talk about the movie? Do you want to do shakers?
I have one last thing I want to add here.
Okay.
I like the last chunk of the movie a lot. But something doesn't sit right with me with like just the very, very end. That scene with her. Not that I'm not glad to see her and all that, but something reeks to me. There has been a lot of rumor stuff going around, but like the director insists none of it's true, but it's just like, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. Where there was, so just to say it quickly, there have been rumors they reshot the ending. And the director's like, no, we didn't. This is how it was always going to end. John Williams in interviews said, oh, yeah, I got to go back in to rescore Indiana Jones because they did the ending again. They did a new ending. So, like, there's 2 different stories on what happened. Now, there's interviews on the Blu-ray with Harrison Ford was like, where he insists, like, this is how it always ended. But I'm like, but are they just saying that so people back the fuck off?
What was the ending going to be? Him staying there?
I think he stayed. It makes sense to why they find the watch there and find whatever. I think it was originally going to be his watch that he's always got instead of like a Nazi's watch. I think that makes sense. It seems so quick that she just punches him.
And he wakes up.
And, it's all dealt with. Never mind. Oh, look, it's her. And it's just confined to the apartment. He sees her and then it ends. Keep in mind, earlier in this movie, when all those people get killed, there's a warrant out for Indiana Jones has murder charges in the new. He's like on TV.
Yeah.
What happened with that? It's just not. There are so many surmounting things.
Oh, interesting.
That I feel like at one point it was like that it's all leading towards he just stays, like he doesn't. You know, he just stays in history. I wonder why
they wouldn't, if that was the case, why they would reshoot it. If like him staying there wasn't.
I just think that didn't go over well.
Because it did seem to me like they really were setting up for him to stay there. It seemed like it was really the goodbye.
And this is my theory. I think, this is my theory. People at home tell me if I'm crazy. I think Disney had a shitload of board meetings and said, hey, we've got a bad reputation for killing everyone's old favorite people. Like, we fucking murdered everyone in Star Wars that people liked, and everyone was mad at us. People are still mad about fucking Luke. People are still mad about Han Solo. People are still whatever. We're gonna fucking cast Indiana Jones off into history to rot. Guys, we have to change the perception now. We have to do it now. Change this. And I think all of the director insisting they didn't do it, Harrison Ford, I think that's part of like them working in cahoots with Disney. This might be me being conspiracy theory guy, but I think they all are working together like, okay, change it.
Now,
so, and then, somebody in the chat nailed it, then they would have found his hat in the tomb or something like, and end on that. I bet you that's what they were going to do. But that being said, there are interviews with people going, no, this is how it always ended. So who knows?
Now,
maybe
here's
that's bullshit.
My thought. on what you just said. I think there was a boardroom meeting, and I do think that this happened. But I don't know if it was about. I don't think they're self-aware enough to have said that. I don't think they even think about that.
I don't know.
I think
I don't know.
the boardroom meeting was, we might be able to squeeze out one more of these. We could have another movie.
All their marketing and all their interviews, they have been saying this is his last hurrah.
But that's after they knew the ending.
That's
not after they already knew.
He's not coming back. I mean, they've said that a bunch. So
sure, maybe. I could just see. To me, money rules everything. And if they thought, they say that a lot.
Yeah.
Sure. If this made $5 billion, I bet you they would have been like, why we leave him back in time? We should have, we fucked up. That's my thought.
Or even have him appear in a new one and he passes the baton to somebody, or whatever. Yeah. But yeah.
I think though, the thought of back to the tomb and the camera pans down and there's a decrepit hat.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
Because, and someone said it in the chat, you nailed it. What's the thing? Every Indiana Jones movie, what's the main thing? It's the artifact. It's the Grail. It's the Ark of the Covenant. It's the Shankara stuff. It's the whatever. How better do you bookend Indiana Jones than there's a new relic?
It's his hat.
Hey, I got this for the museum. Da, 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 and that hat is in a case, and it pulls back in the museum. Like the next artifact was him. You know what I mean?
That sounds cooler. That sounds cooler.
Thank you. So that's my one little beef. Something didn't ring right to me the way it ended, and I thought it was a quick way to just have him do the thing from Raiders of the Lost Ark. She kisses him and whatever. It was fine. But something reeks. There's a skunk in the cellar, and I could smell it. But still liked the last bit of the movie.
Fine.
I still liked it.
Okay, let's do some shakers.
Yeah.
Let's do some popcorn shakers.
Wrap this fucking thing up.
Wrap it up.
And so I can be an artifact. What's going to be? Wait, real quick. What's your artifact? Shawn goes away. It belongs in a museum. What is it? What's Shawn's artifact?
Probably my hat. Honestly, that's the thing I wear.
Like a Padres hat.
A Padres hat.
Totally
Yosemite hat. That one I.
That's what yours would be.
Yeah. How about you?
Well, I don't know. You tell me.
I don't know.
What do you think it would be?
McDonald's socks.
That's my legacy.
I don't know. Your glasses. I don't know. What would it be? Probably this figure or this.
Kevin, if I die and something in mine is in a museum 100 years from now, that's my artifact. Like, the Shankara stone was the temple of whatever. If I die, what's my artifact? What would be the thing in the museum?
That rare Tamagotchi.
What would be yours? I think, Kevin, it'd be an old cookie. Chocolate, it's 100 years old, but it's delicious.
Yours is going to be the Vision Pro because you're the only person who's going to get that.
Yeah. Sorry to put you on the spot. I think it'd be, you know what? Maybe, glasses or, the Christmas jacket. The Christmas,
the Christmas jacket?
Yeah.
Or it could be like, go back to the versions, it could be like a beanie and a Sharpie.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Okay, I'll take that. Okay. That's a better one. Okay. See, Kevin was trying to pick something to insult me.
I'm so sick of Kevin doing that to you.
I'm over his shit, You know what I think his item would be? I think it'd be a fucking handbook on how to be nice.
It probably needs to be his hand.
Because he never read it.
Yeah, but yeah. Anyways. Okay. Rocco, you picked it. You can do the shakers. You can start.
Yeah, really just to boil it down simple, I love the opening of this movie. I love the last chunk of it. The middle, I get real tired. I just get like, damn, could have cut all this down. Kevin, actually, to keep bringing him up, summed this up best with what was weird about 2023. I remember we saw this and we saw Spider-Verse, and that was another one. It was it was too fucking long. It was like, all right, 8th chase scene, I'm tired. And Kevin summed this up best. He's like, 2023 was the weirdest year where the action movies, I started getting tired. And the history movies kept me gripped the whole time. And I was like, oh my God, Kevin, totally.
Yeah.
Very weird year. And for Indiana Jones to make me feel that way makes me sad. I love Indiana Jones. You said you didn't care about, have any interest in seeing this, whatever.
Yeah.
I love that character too much that I was like, you know, it sucks because I didn't think the trailers looked good or whatever, but I like him so much.
Yeah, that's what you were saying. You were always
I was the one guy that was like, no matter what, I'm there. And you know, so it makes me sad that it's too long and the middle bores me, and it still does. I watched it again. I wish that was done better, but it's like a shit sandwich. That makes it sound worse than it is. The middle, but man, I think the things on either side are pretty cool. And there's things that I thought they were going to handle bad that they handled really great. Again, the mutt thing was surprising. Yeah. I'm going to give it I love the man. I love Indy so much. I love the character. I'm going to give it a 3. There's a lot I wish they could have done better. A lot that could have been a lot worse. I'm going to give it a 3. That's where I'm going to sit right there.
Okay, a 3. Well, Rocco, I think I agree with everything you said. I think I was very surprised how much I enjoyed this movie. I thought I was going to hate it.
I was actually thinking like you were going to give me that. I'm bored. You know, because there were parts that I just thought like he's going to be like over this.
But you know, I also love Indiana Jones.
Yeah,
I do. And like I did feel burned by the Crystal Skull.
Yeah.
For the reasons we talked about. Yeah. And I thought this was a money grab. And And you know, I've seen Harrison Ford come back as his old character before, so that novelty's gone, and I just don't care. And so that being said, if this movie was the 4th Indiana Jones,
it would have gone over a lot better.
It would have been huge, and they would have made a fuck ton of money.
They still shouldn't have spent that, even if it was the 4th one, and we hadn't seen them in that many years, they still shouldn't have spent that much on it. They could have cut shit out. I honestly would have loved if the whole movie was pretty low budget, and they saved it all for that last part.
Yeah.
That would have been like, what the fuck? This was just like a small movie, and what happened at the end? I think that would have been more impressive.
I do think that you cut out that whole Antonio Banderas thing, which he was fine in the movie, but like,
it's fine.
I don't need them scuba diving to get the thing to find the thing.
Needed.
I don't need that.
Yeah.
And that, you know, that would be, I think would have saved a lot of time.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
And honestly, that was the most predictable part of the whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
Where it's like, yeah, I know this girl is going to maybe turn on him because that happens in Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
I know that they're going to find the relic and get taken out of their hands by the bad guy because that always happens. Like, you don't have to do all the things, you know? So there were a lot of things like that where it's like, stop doing the tropes of Indiana Jones and do something new. And then they did something new at the end for sure. So respect to that. So I think I will also give it a 3. I will. And I think that, like, you know, I showed the kids the first Indiana Jones. I don't think they've seen the other ones. I feel like if I do that, I'll just skip Crystal Skull. I'll continue to show them. They can see this one too. It was good enough that I think it warrants, like, I'll show you guys this one day. You know, good enough.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Glad it went out with this. And again,
I agree.
I thought the worst part of 4 was not aliens, was not the nuke, was not this, that, whatever. The CG was bad, but I actually think the worst thing was no risk. Just no risk.
And no real heart.
And this movie had some heart and took a big swing.
It did.
Thumbs up for me on that.
Yeah.
Better. I would rather them go out on that than 4.
I agree. No, I definitely agree. And so I was on the hard camp of don't make this fucking movie. Don't do this again. Like, fuck off. But now I do see what you're saying where it's like, no, you deserve to have a better ending than what you had.
Yeah.
And so in my world, and this is definitely not the popular opinion, but I would say to skip all the even Indiana Jones movies. To skip the even ones. Watch the other ones.
That.
That's what I'm saying.
Temple of Doom, still the second best. Third is the best. But Temple of Doom is right below that. It's so underrated. Shawn, the directing of something you never saw back then. Parallel action. He's fighting the kid up there with the voodoo doll. He's going to stick him with the thing. That's happening there. Indy's fighting the big dude on the conveyor belt. Oh my God. It's a big chaotic Disneyland ride. That I would say the second one does not have the best writing of the 3 old ones, but the best directing by far. The set pieces, the physical set pieces. There's so much to love about that second one. I think you're giving it a hard ass time.
I am.
I think you're being a bit of a You're being a stick in the voodoo doll.
You know, if you want to rank the Indiana Jones movies, do you want to go through all 5? You rank them. What do you got?
This isn't just me.
I know.
3, 2, 1, 5, 4.
3, 1, 5, 2, 4.
Wrong.
Well, you know.
I'm sorry.
To each his own.
That's not correct.
To each their own. But in the comments, put your list. Put your numbers in. Let us see what you think. I'm curious. Is 3 a good? You know, I think people vary between the first and the third as their favorite. You know,
most people I know, yeah. I do see people say, "No, Temple of Doom is the best." Temple of Doom. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that because I just feel like it's such a detour. But I don't know. You know, if that's your, you know, that it is such a detour that maybe that's more your speed of movie. I get that, but yeah, I you know.
Yeah. What's the chat saying? What are we looking at? What's the not with all of them, but what's the first one?
Lots of 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. I'm surprised that a lot of people do have 3 at the top. You know, yeah, 3, 1, 2, 3. A lot of 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Most people do put Temple of Doom third in there if you're ranking the first 3.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think that my ranking would be the popular opinion. That's just my opinion. Yeah, but
I would say though, there's a lot of people who are just like don't want Temple of Doom, don't like
Temple of Doom. Just maybe I'll watch it again. But
that'll be a movie club someday.
I did that recently. I thought like 5 years ago, and I was like, no, I just don't like it. I don't know. The monkey brains, I fucking hated it.
I would say out of all the parts in the movie, that's the part that aged the worst.
As
when
a
it comes
kid,
to like,
I was mortified.
Yeah. There's that. That's different than anything in any other Indiana Jones movie. You know, when I was younger, I was kind of annoyed by Willie Scott constantly being upset by things. I watch it now though, and it's like, yo, she did not fucking sign up for an Indiana Jones adventure.
Yeah.
And I think there's something fun about that. And also a thing that I didn't understand when I was a kid was now when you watch it, there is a palpable sexual thing with her and Indiana Jones that is like, you want me? Oh, no, you want me. Oh, fuck you, you want me. That, to me, makes it kind of more fun, too, where it's like, what is happening? What are we doing? There's a spice to that movie that isn't in the other ones. And I think that's, I don't know, it's just fun. I think it's a really great detour. If they just made the first one again, it wouldn't taste so good. But that's what makes the third one great, is the third one kind of dips back into that sauce the first one had, where it's kind of like back at home, we've calmed down. Marcus Brody is back in here. Sola's back in here. The Nazis are a problem again. I think if all 3 were like that, boring. But the fact that 2 goes so off the track, so to speak.
Yeah.
And then you kind of get back with the third one, and it's the father-son story, and it's all that. To me, that makes the whole steak taste better. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
Temple of Doom is the fat that makes the meat taste better. Now, some people don't want the fat.
I don't.
But fat is my favorite flavor.
There you go.
There it is.
There you go. All right. What am I going to pick next? I'm going to pick a movie that I just saw. It's in theaters. So usually we don't do that. But I'm going to do it because I saw it in theaters. I had no plan to see this in theaters, but it was one of those things where the kid's friend's parent was like, hey, I'm taking my kids to see a movie. Want to come? I'm like, okay, sure. We're going right now. So from being invited to a movie, I was in the theater 20 minutes later being like, how the fuck did I get here? But I saw Wonka. And I think Rocco, I'm dying to know, what is Rocco going to think of Wonka? He hasn't seen it yet. He's gonna have to go to the theater to watch this movie.
Satisfying and delicious. Talk about your childhood wishes.
Even do the dishes. Thank you. So let's have Rocco watch Wonka.
I'm gonna take that.
It's mine. And come join us next week. Sub on to the Patreon if you're watching this live on our stream. this is what we do every week. And so if you want to join that, I think it's fun. Join our Patreon. We'd love to have you.
We got Movie Club. We got a million exclusive things every week. Well, not literally a million, but a lot.
No, yeah, it's true. But we have at least a few hours of new content every single week.
Yeah.
And this is part of it. So if you liked it, just join our Patreon. And go see Wonka if you haven't already. Rocco, you're going to have to see it. I cannot wait to see what you're thinking. Will he be fucking... Is it going to be a 1? Is it going to be a 0? Is it going to be a 5? I don't know.
I'm very Wonka opinionated. I do want to say, though, full disclosure, I did get a lot of people messaging me because I posted a video on Instagram and stuff like that of me playing around with the Wonka hat.
Yeah, the popcorn bucket.
This is the official AMC popcorn bucket for Wonka.
Yeah.
This is all plastic that they just dump popcorn into.
Yeah.
I showed that I got it at the movie theater. I got this when I saw Poor Things.
Oh, okay.
I literally got popcorn for the movie. And I was like, "Do you have the Wonka bucket still?" And they're like, "Yeah, it's in the back." I'll be back. And the guy groaned, went over, got this hat, dumped popcorn in, and went, "There you go." So anyway, I did get the bucket, but I have not seen the movie. I'm gonna see it this week, and then we'll review it.
We'll talk Wonka.
Next. We'll talk.
And stay tuned because I can't wait. All right, everyone. We will see next week with Wonka, but stay tuned. We're going to be streaming for who knows how long, but we're going to be streaming this week.
Yes.
In and out, having fun. And we'll talk to you later. Everyone, goodbye.